Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling AI ethics, but, not in that abstract philosophical way. We're going to look at it as a very real, hands-on challenge that can literally make or break these incredible technologies that are meant to help us all. All right, let's just get right into it. So get this. You have this AI, right? It's built by a team of brilliant people to do something amazing. Diagnose skin cancer from pictures. It's a life-saving idea. But when it got out into the real world, something strange happened. Yeah, it helped some people, but it also put a whole other group of people at serious risk. So the big question is, how? How could something with such good intentions go so spectacularly wrong? Well, when people looked closer, the results were pretty alarming. The AI was fantastic, but only for patients with light skin. For patients with darker skin, its accuracy just plummeted. And this wasn't just some tech bug. No, this was a failure with real human costs. It was actually making existing healthcare gaps even wider, and it put an entire group of people in danger of having their diagnosis delayed or missed altogether. To really understand how this could happen, we need a map. And for us, that map is the AI lifecycle. Think of it as the blueprint for every AI system. By walking through it, we can pinpoint exactly where those good intentions took a wrong turn.
So what even is the AI project lifecycle? Well, you can think of it as the AI's entire life story, from that first little spark of an idea all the way to it being out in the world doing its thing. And every single step along that path is a choice, a crossroads. It's where ethics either get woven right into the fabric of the project, or they get left behind. So our map has 5 main landmarks. First, problem definition. Then, data acquisition, development, deployment, and finally, monitoring. We're going to trace the path through these 5 stages to see how one little oversight at the start can snowball into a total disaster by the end. And that's really what we're looking at here, a cascade of failure. See, these big AI disasters, they almost never happen because of one huge mistake. It's usually a chain reaction. A series of small, seemingly harmless oversights that just pile on top of each other until things fall apart.
So let's go right back to the beginning. Stage 1, problem definition. This is it. This is the moment that sets the course for the entire project. It's where the team decides, okay, what problem are we actually trying to solve? And just as importantly, what does success even look like?
And this stage is it's absolutely critical. Because the way you frame the problem, that determines everything else. It narrows down the solutions you'll even think about. But more importantly, it can create these huge blind spots, hiding all the potential harms you might accidentally cause down the line.
Here's a textbook example of this going wrong, a criminal risk assessment AI. On paper, the goal was simple: predict who is likely to reoffend. But the team made 2 huge mistakes right here in stage 1. First, they decided success meant being accurate based on old historical data that was already full of racial bias. Second, they didn't talk to the communities that would actually be affected by this tool. And the result? A system that didn't just fail, it actively made injustice worse. The whole project eventually had to be scrapped.
So that initial mistake then spills over into stage 2, data acquisition. This is where the AI goes to school, basically. You're feeding it all the information it's going to learn from. And if your problem definition is off, your data search can become a minefield.
You know that old saying, garbage in, garbage out? Well, with AI, it has never been more true. An AI is just a mirror. It reflects the patterns and the prejudices that are in the data you give it. You feed it biased data, you're going to get a biased AI. Period. And that brings us right back to our skin cancer mystery.
And here it is. Here's the smoking gun. The team used a data set that was publicly available, which sounds fine, but they missed one fatal flaw. The images were almost all from light-skinned patients. They didn't even check the demographics. So they fed this totally lopsided view of the world to their AI. The system was fundamentally broken before they even wrote one line of code. And you can see how that mistake just keeps poisoning the well, right? In development, the model is built on that bad data. In deployment, it fails spectacularly in the real world. And without proper monitoring, that failure just keeps happening, silently causing harm. One error cascading through the entire system.
Okay,
We've seen how badly things can go wrong, so let's flip the script. How do we get it right? Because this isn't just about dodging bullets and avoiding failure. This is about actively building better, more effective, and more successful AI.
It all boils down to a choice between two very different paths. On one side, you can treat ethics like an afterthought, something you tack on at the end. That path almost always leads to bias, harm, and frankly, failure. The other path? It's called ethics by design. It means building it in from the very beginning, creating a foundation for fairness, trust, and actual success.
And listen, this isn't just wishful thinking. The numbers back it up. Let's talk trust. When companies have strong, clear ethical guidelines, they report 76% higher trust from their users. It makes sense, right? People are much more likely to use a tool when they believe it was built to be fair and safe. And that trust, it leads directly to success. AI projects that have real ethical rules in place are an incredible 3.2 times more likely to actually succeed. So it turns out thinking about fairness and safety isn't a drag on the project, it's a massive advantage. But here's the most important number of all. Building AI with a solid ethical framework reduces harmful incidents by 68%. That is a huge drop. That means fewer people getting hurt, fewer PR disasters, and fewer projects that have to be shut down because they did real damage. That is the bottom line. So what does this blueprint for better AI look like? Well, it's built on a few core, common-sense ideas. You start with fairness, making sure your system treats everyone equitably. Then you need transparency and accountability so we know how it works and who's responsible when it doesn't. And all of that has to stand on a solid foundation of respecting privacy and guaranteeing safety.
So as we start to bring this all together, the message couldn't be clearer. Ethics, it isn't an optional extra. That's not a feature you add on later. It has to be the concrete foundation for everything we build with AI.
And this is a practical to-do list, not just a theory. It means you audit your data for bias before you even start building. It means you build ways to explain your model's decisions right into the code. You have real humans in the loop for the important stuff. You give users an easy way to give feedback. And you keep doing ethical checkups long after you've launched.
You know, it's really hard to overstate how much this matters. The choices we're making right now, the ethical rules we're writing today, they are going to shape how AI affects humanity for generations. We aren't just making products here. We're laying the groundwork for the future. In the end, an AI is just a mirror. It's going to reflect the data we feed it, the choices we make, and the values we hold. So the biggest question isn't really about what the technology is capable of. The question is about us. What values are we going to build into our code? What kind of future are we going to choose to create?